Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to another Supreme Commander epic. Yes, the splash screen is back, not necessarily in perpetuity, but because I've got a little announcement to make. I was going to usually save this, or I do usually save this sort of things for the promotional games, but Jip recently helped me out with an IT problem, which is incidentally why this game is being cast today and wasn't uploaded yesterday. So yes, thank you to him, and as a result, I'm going to put this out ASAP, and the thing in question is that the powers that be at FAF are looking for volunteers. What do I mean by that? Well, you can see for yourself over on their Discord. This is the Forged Alliance Forever official Discord, and at the bottom of the main FAF section you can see a channel that says looking for volunteers. You've got all of these nicely laid out little things. People who know how to work Discords, they astound me. But then an awful lot astounds me these days. It's part of getting old. But anyway, yes, if you think you've got any skills that pertain to these areas, these are all things that the gods of FAF are looking for assistance with. Content managers, system admins, developers, game developers, moderators, game artists, all that jazz. So if you've got any of those skills, or even if you don't, you could just play FAF. Look, check it out. Trainers. We need trainers to train newbies, which incidentally nobody is doing. Look at that. 0 responses. Start the conversation. OMG, fellas and ladies. What's going on? Get on there if you know how to play and help shave off that steep learning curve for the newbies, because goodness knows this game is complicated enough without being left to our own devices to figure things out. So anyway, yes, if you can help with any of those, please do so. It would be greatly appreciated. All right, that's enough of that. What have we got for you today? It's going to be a whopping 7v7 going down on a generated map. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching ka-ching. So there we have it. We'll talk more on the map in just a moment. First of all, we've got to make our introductions as our players gate in annoyingly to the wrong side of the map, because this is Team 1 down here at the bottom left, and this is Team 2 at the top right. Grrr, nothing irks me more. I will probably get things wrong. I will refer to the wrong teams as a result. You know what to do. Abuse me in the comments. And incidentally, by the way, if I've forgotten to put the link to the Discord, as I've just mentioned in the little comment section, or not the comment section, the video description below, abuse me in the comment section until I make it so. These things do happen, as you guys well know. Anyway, let's make our introductions. Our players have gated in, starting with Team 1 over here on the left-hand side. We have Anivashka. Anivashka, get your hands off that pig. You'll catch disease. Anyway, there he, she, they is, and they're opening first land in lime green. Team member number 2, just below him, is the winner of this week's Music Name Award. It's Hank, the crotch-relieving tank, and yes, editorializing is my prerogative on my channel, so I will be doing that. But anyway, there it's going Cyber, bless him, in mellow yellow, opening first land. Team member number 3 over here in the center in burgundy red. We have Okpuck going Seraphim today, going first land, second air. If there is such a thing as an air position, this would be it. Rear guard over here. It's Tumba. He's going Cybrin in electric blue, going first land. Team member number 5 for Team 1 in Hallie Orange Orange to his right, going UEF. It's Knightley, and he is opening first land. Team member number 6 in Dijon Yellow. It's Legend Law 2. Was there ever a Legend Law 1? No one really knows. Who can say? Separated at birth, perished in a freak trampolining accident. No one really knows. Anyway, he's going UEF, opening first land, and last but not least, to his right in lime green, leaving his base, it's Forever Naya, going UEF, going first land. Alrighty, that's Team 1, comprised of 3 UEF, 2 Cybrin, and a Seraphim. Let's check out Team 2 over here at the top right-hand side, starting with Chicks, already leaving his base, going Cybrin in Ferrari red, and he's gone land all day by the looks of things. Team member number 2 leaving his base also. That's going to be a theme, I think, as we are now 2.5 minutes in, and I'm still barely halfway through these introductions. It's Loki, and he's going UEF in baby blue, going almost land all day, but sneaking in a cheeky air factory next to the Hydro some point, and I can't be bothered to figure out when. But anyway, it's there. Over to the center, and it's Tursto, another Cybrin, this time in regal purple, and again, similar situation, mostly land, 1 air factory snuck in there. Rearguard air position potentially handled by Upas, another Cybran. It seems to be pretty Cybran heavy for Team 2. He's gone Cyanide Cyan and has gone first land, second air. Over here at the top, also well away from his base now in combat green, it's Pepe! 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 Other meme coins are available. Anyway, he's going UEF and he's gone first land, then sort of second air, and then thought, do I want to build that? I don't know, maybe I'll go for a walk and then come back and build something. But anyway, it's building now. Team member number 6, all the way over here, it's Yerfmeister in Spetsnaz green, another Cybran. He went first land, and last but not least, always an interesting decision to go Fecal Brown, it's Mythologist going UEF and went mostly land all day, and now thinking about getting an air factory, so similar to the rest. So racial makeup of Team 2, 4 Cybran, 3 UEF. That is what Ye Olde Map Generator in its infinite wisdom has generated for us today. Pretty even and consistent smattering of mass poop dotted around the map, so but not great. I mean, not enormous piles. These, look, there's a 150 in the center there, but look, 100 down there, 75s, 90s, 60s, 40s, 20s, 50s. So there's not a huge amount of reclaim, especially to go around 14 players. So that will be a slowing, tempering effect on the tempo of this game. Nice little T1 bomber harass there from Anivashka, just harassing this forward position here belonging to Mythologist, but that bomber eventually does get shot down. We should take a moment to talk about which players are worth worrying about. We've got Tursto in the center for Team 2 and Okpuk in the center also for Team 1. That's a 2100 for Okpuk, that's a 2000 for Tursto. Everybody else is sub that area. We've got a 1700 for Knightley on the backfield. If it's well balanced, I would then expect Pepe to be a decent rank. Well, he's actually only 1400, so a little bit of an imbalance there at that position, but they're not on the front line, so it might not matter. Lowest rated players, 1100 on Team 2 for Upas. He's handling air right at the back over on the right hand side. And then we have an 1100 for Tumba handling air over here, but also 1000 for Anivashka, and Anivashka's going up against Mythologist, who's high-rated Joe at 1400, so that's a potential weak spot over here for Team 1, and as it so happens, Mythologist now bearing down on Anivashka's position with the commander. What's happening in the center? We've got upgrade on the way for Loki. That's going to be Gun. We do have Legend Lore moving in on that position, currently unupgraded. Will he be able to force a cancel? We'll keep an eye on it. By chat, having said that, as we zoom away, of course. Okpuk starting a gun upgrade in chat. Chicks all the way down here with his commander, a little bit isolated. Nice little group of labs, though, looking for a run-by potential, maybe to try and hit some mexes over there. Legend Lore has discovered Loki's comm. I don't think he's going to be successful in forcing a cancel. And upgrade now at 85% done. And he's still got almost all of his hit points, so unlikely to be shooed away anytime soon. 6.5 minutes in. Generated eco, pretty flat. About a 4 mass advantage for Team 1 so far. Absolutely minimal. And in terms of reclaim, let's have a quick look. 8.5k versus 5.9k in favor of Team 2. So top right team doing a little better on the reclaim front so far. Nice little push on the ground though from Chicks in the bottom right hand corner. Chicks a 1400 facing off at the moment against Forever Naya, who's a 1300. So on paper this should be a pretty fair fight. It is UEF versus Cybran, so if it gets into some comm-on-comm action with them both at full health and Forever Naya with an upgraded gun, that is a bit of a mismatch. Chick's currently unupgraded, so he needs to be careful on the ground until he gets some more weaponry at the very least. A little bit of pressure being exerted in the center from Tursto, who is our 2000 rated player on Team 2, remember. Just looking to cause some problems for Hank. Hank is a 1600, so one of the higher rated players on Team 1. Yerfmeister also surging forward, looking to potentially take out this group of factories over here belonging to Anivashka. Making contact with it now with the commander and this horde of spam, backed up incidentally by a nice little group of Medusas. So he should be able to take down these factories pretty quick. There goes one. Are there any reinforcements in the area? Well, some of the frontline troops are being withdrawn at the moment for Anivashka. The commander way out here to the west. Go west. Leave your outpost vulnerable. Go west. Yerfmeister going to take advantage of that. All 4 factories likely to capitulate to that fire. Back in on the centre. Okpuk firmly standing his ground. He's got gun on board that Seraphim commander. Tursto has had to cancel an upgrade, and that, I don't know, answer in the comment section below. I didn't see how far through that upgrade he was and how much of a cancel that was, but worth mentioning so others can see in case they weren't paying attention either. You guys can always go back at your leisure, of course. The ability to scroll, how wonderful that must be. Okpuk going after Upas here. Upas, who is one of the lower rated players. Base actually right on the top right corner, so arguably expected to handle air. But it's taken a royal battering here, down to 4,600 hit points. Probably wants to think about withdrawing. What's happening over here on the right hand side? Chix gets himself a gun upgrade, but goes straight for a stealth upgrade when he probably should be on the move right now. There's a lot of T1 spam in the area. He does cancel the stealth upgrade when he sees the sheer amount of inbound damage. But Forever Naya, sensing blood here, is not going to let him go. No chance. Why would he? Below 1,000 hit points now. Below 500. He's not getting away. Boom, baby. Wow. Inside 10 minutes. First casualty. And it's Team 2 who lose their right flank. I imagine full share is on. Probably should have checked that already. Indeed it is. And highest scoring player, which is of course top rated player, as you would expect. Tursto going to inherit all of that infrastructure, but he immediately transfers control over to Loki so that he can handle the entirety of the right flank. I think that's probably the right decision. Loki 1500 should be able to handle himself, and the amount of extra APM that will be required to manage 2 theatres. Well, 1 enlarged theatre now, should we say. Tursto taking a bit of fire here. Needs to be careful. Doesn't want to get himself ousted from the game. That would be utterly disastrous for Team 2. Going down a man already and then losing their ringer. 3,600 hit points on the clock. Okpuk trying desperately to take him out, but now is taking a lot of fire himself. Needs to be very, very careful. There's a ton of Mantis in here. Does he get himself a ranking vet? Yes, he does, but that hit point boost is almost evaporated immediately. Thankfully, though, Legend Lord 2 coming in from the southeast is going to give some assistance. Hank also coming in from the northwest, and Okpuk will survive that encounter with a smidge over 1,000 hit points. What's happening over here? Anivashka now in trouble. Taking a bit of fire, I think, from an encounter with Mythologist. This was another forward position that belonged to him, and that's been destroyed. Mythologist walking over the ruins as we speak, whilst also harassing the commander with T1 bombers. But that's not even the worst of it. Yerfmeister cutting off any potential retreat, storming into the main base now with a ton of spam, and his commander, an upgraded with gun commander no less. Anivashka, devoid of assistance or any upgrades, and now getting sandwiched from 2 directions, and not in a good way. This could be our next ejection. Closing in on the 12-minute mark. Team 2 would be crazy to let Anivashka off the hook here. I don't think they're going to need to. Spam catching up now from Mythologist. Anivashka dipping back into the red. 3,000 hit points left. Yerfmeister continuing on that trajectory and is now in range of Anivashka's commander. Opens up sub 1k hit points, and that's another exit from the game. And this time it's Team 1 to lose their left flank. And the game is leveled at 12.5 minutes. Oh, but what have we got here? Some Corsairs. And they're targeting Yerfmeister, who's partially damaged after that last encounter. Gets himself a nice rank in veterancy with the destruction of that factory. There's still a bunch of Corsairs here for Tumba. Yerfmeister down to 2,700 hit points, and another volley in from a fresh wave, I think. Oh, down to 30 hit points. Boom! Just when Team 2 leveled the game, they then lose Yerfmeister. Yerfmeister, who was one of the higher rated players at 1,500. That's the highest outage so far. Chicks over here on the right hand side was a 1,400. And now it is a 6v5 in favour of Team 2. I think. No, in favour of Team 1, sorry. Got there in the end. Told you I was going to get them mixed up. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Hyperdrive was disabled. Puck has repped up a little bit. Got about 9,300 hit points left on that commander. Mass totals favouring Team 2 now. 422 mass per tick versus 518. Total mass 242 for Team 1 versus 265 now for Team 2. Another round of Corsairs from Tumba hunting for commanders, and they've locked onto Pepe, who's already partially damaged. Oh my goodness, is this going to be another kill for Tumba? One strafing run takes Pepe down to 1,400 hit points, and they're not done yet. Pepe hanging right turns, but the zigging and the zagging is not enough, and he goes down. Ouch. So, who is now handling? So, Tursto handling Pepe's stuff and handling Yerfmeister, his old position. He should be able to handle it. Very respectable 2,000 rating. Tursto has got about 1,200 hit points left on that Cybran commander. 1,200 out of 14,000. Did I say 1,200? 12,900 versus 14,800. Okpuk at full health, also 14,850, curiously enough. And gets himself a rank in vet, now suddenly up to 16,200. Counter pressure out in the west from Hank, looking to push back some of this ground spam belonging to Mythologist. Mythologist over here under shield coverage, getting himself a T2 upgrade. Already has gun. So that will be a solid threat over on that left-hand side of the map for Team 2. Loki withdrawing in the bottom right-hand corner, sort of. I suppose you can call that the bottom right-hand corner, bottom right quadrant. Moving up towards the main base. And was that attack missile? Or was that artillery? Who can say? Someone with better eyesight, that's who, Guile. Over a quarter of an hour in, and it is a 4v6 in favour of Team 1. Okpuk circling out front, has gun upgrade and nano repair. That's an 82 hit point a second regen on that puppy. Hank needs to be careful here not to overextend into this forward outpost. Mythologist now double upgraded with the commander, looking to push out. Nice little tac missile battery there, also under shield coverage, and a decent amount of combined T1 and T2 spam just to the right of it. We do have T2 spam in play also for Hank on this left flank. What's happening in the air over here? A lot of ASFs on the field. Tursto, 2000 rated player, pulling in 309, but remember he's sitting on 3 bases now. He's pumping out air superiority fighters, so it looks like he's prepared to play a decent role. I'm wondering if this is going to factor in Okpuk, the other top pro, but on Team 1, he's still sitting on just 1 base, because we've only had 1 exit for Team 1, and that is Anivashka. Will that be a factor? The fact that so much eco has been dumped into the hands of the top pro on Team 2. Will they be able to get something done on that front? There certainly seems to be a lot of T2 and T3 purple materializing on the ground in the center of the map. Lots of Bernies making their way to the front line. There are 32 in this section alone. Hank fighting diligently in the west and getting some broadsword assistance, which is nice there from Knightley. Knightley with his own band of ASFs in the middle. I'm going to do a very quick ASF count just to see where we are on that front. 26 air superiority fighters for Knightley. And Tursto, who I think is the man to worry about predominantly, or was. There we go. He's got 22. So then we've got a couple kicking around here also for Upas. Some 10. Broadswords allowed to operate in this area, and they're just going to pick off some of those inbound socialists. Glorious sight that is. Bye-bye, Bernie. And some siege tanks from Okpuk waiting for that inbound force. Although Okpuk finding himself sandwiched from 3 directions with Tursto coming in as well. Yes, he's got a pretty tanky commander, but that's a lot of inbound firepower marching towards his commander. That's a fantastic 3-way pincer movement from Tursto. Will it bear fruit is the question. Love to have a little bit more firepower in the area, some bricks or something like that, but he hasn't got access to them at the moment. And Okpuk also has this formidable force of siege tanks and Ilshivers, but the Cybrids have locked onto the commander. It's down into the yellow, 10,000 hit points remaining. The number of Bernies are dwindling. A round of T1 bombers in over the top, followed by Corsairs, takes Okpuk into the red, and I barely get a chance to comment on it, and he is taken out of the game. The lingering broadswords in the area from Knightley lock on to Tursto. Can we take out both pros inside the same couple of minutes? There's not that many gunships there, only 1 remaining now. Tursto into the yellow, 8,600 hit points. Wave of fighters swoop in from Upas to finish off the last of those gunships, so I think Tursto's going to get out of there. So that is the top pro from Team 1 down and out. It is now a 5v4, still favouring Team 1. However, there's no 2000 rated player on their team anymore. Will that be a factor? Just seen how dangerous Tursto can be with the amount of cash flowing into his coffers. Are we starting to see a shift in game momentum now? Legend Law has brought his comm to the front. That's a 3-star comm now. Partially damaged though, but he has got these parashields for support, along with a decent amount of flak as well, which is good to see. Corsairs likely only to get 1 volley away before getting massacred against a horde of flak of that magnitude. Hank in the west, still doing his thing. He's up to about 10,000 hit points now, 88 kills to his name. And where are we on eco? 850 to 815 in favor of Team 2. So Team 2 are ahead in generated eco, and they're up about 33k in terms of total mass overall. In terms of mass destroyed, they're also up by about 7k. Kill-loss ratios actually favoring Team 1 for a moment there, and then it drops down to dead even at 69, dudes! Yes, I'm 42. You wouldn't believe it. 42 in hairline, 8 years old at heart. Bricks advancing over in the east, but just a couple of them. But with 22, nearly 23 minutes gone in the game so far, we are definitely entering into the mid-game now. The larger toys start to come out to play. We're going to start seeing the emergence of the first experimentals, I would imagine, before too long, especially with the number of Cyberans in play today. Expect to see some Monkey Lords popping up before too long. Ooh, saucy little run by at the bottom of the screen there. Fortunately for Team 2 and for Loki, they are only Tech 2 units. They're going to run into some Percivals, but they might bag themselves a reactor. It's going to be a close run thing. They're now in range of a solid Triad battery. And there is, I think, our first experimental from Knightley, who's incidentally also bringing his commander forward to help defend that reactor. It's not going to be enough, though. Down it goes. What's that done to Legend Law's power grid? Well, it's definitely shaved off everything he had in store. He's now only 200 power net positive. Less than ideal. There is the first experimental, and it's not a Monkey Lord, unless I've missed one already. Apologies if I have. But it's a Seraphim Ithota, which hits the field first, I believe. What's happening over here on the right? Naya with a little forward fire base, starting to throw down Ravagers, getting himself a T3 shield gen. And Loki does not like the look of that Ravager, or indeed the firebase in general, so he's going to roll up on it with what is quite a sizable band of Percivals here. Forever Naya needs to be a little bit careful. The alpha strike off this many Percies can really ruin your day, and his comm is right there with the shields now down. And to make matters worse, he's hung up on his own units, which are getting in the way should these Percivals decide to move forward. This is the view from Loki. Not necessarily sure of that comms position at this point, but it looks like they're about to reveal it. Potentially they are continuing to move forward. They've got momentum. Where is that commander gone? Can they see it? There it is. If they catch sight of it and can move on up on it, that comm could be in trouble. Still a decent number of Percivals alive after just curb stomping that forward outpost. Forever Naya does have a decent amount of HP. He's a 5-star con, 91 kills, 22,500 hit points. But there's a lot of Percivals still alive. Nice overcharge there, deals with one of them. There's about 8 more to go at least. Couple of volleys takes him down into the yellow. 15,400 hit points left. Needs to overcharge more regularly. Gets another one. Badly damages a third. But oh my goodness, look at that diet he just went on. Hit points just fell off him like an Atkins-ridden intermittent fasting marathon runner. And that now makes it a 4v4. Handling 3 different positions now for Team 1 is Knightley. A rear position over here, holding the centre, Okpuk's forward position, and the entirety of the right flank. That is a lot to keep your concentration on. And his Ithota has been destroyed by what is a massive force of bricks, Bernies, Mantis, you name it, coming down the centre from Tersto. Ion Storm about to run its course. There's not a huge amount behind it. There's some sort of sporadic smattering of units. Team 1 are going to have to find a way to deal with Tursto, I think. Fortunately, Knightley managed to spam out another Ethota, which is going to protect this position over here. Formerly Okpux. Oh, what's going on over here? Hank taking some fire from a wave of Corsairs in from Upas. Tumba ready, though, with his air superiority fighters, and indeed Knightley for that matter. Do we have air dominance for Team 1? It's beginning to look that way. Let me just do a quick ASF count. It's about 80 ASFs there for Knightley, plus 27 from Tumba, so about 107. And then we will match that up against Tursto, who's got 74. And Upas, who's got 30. So very, very similar numbers of air superiority fighters. Very evenly balanced at the current time. 1.2k mass per tick generated for Team 2 at the moment versus 1.1k for Team 1. Total mass accrued so far. Team 2 have just hit 1 million and gone over. 970,000 for Team 1. Did I say Team 1 before? So Team 2 over 1 million, Team 1 at 970, but those totals, of course, changing all the time. Are we going to get some counter pressure now from Knightley in this experimental in the middle? Well, if he's going to, he's not doing it yet. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to wipe out some of these T3 factories if he can. Just try and slow down the flow of inbound T3 units. But I'm liking the unit composition we're seeing here. Experimentals, some siege tanks, Zooies for throwaway high damage, or relatively high damage for cost fire, and of course those mobile shield gens to keep it all safe. Is it going to get the business done though? I'd like to see more siege tanks than just the one. Now a fat boy coming in from the east. That looks like that could be another Ethota, which is about to go down. Does Knightley have another one queued up? Yes, he does. Already rolling off the conveyor belt. The one behind that, 7,000 hit points, cooked and climbing. A little bit of a run by up the left-hand side of the screen from Hank. As one Bernie left. Probably not going to make it into this forward set of mechs over here, though. Handful of Percivals making a nuisance of themselves, slowly getting tickled to death, though, by these Cerberus turrets. But taking out other structures as they go. Lots of experimentals being completed now. They are coming into the game thick and fast. Grass upgrade on the way for Mythologists, spamming up reactors. Massive increases in eco. Look at the air factories planned in the backfield for Tursto. Are there any really big toys on the way? Do we have any artillery under construction? It's a dangerous time to start working on large toys. If you're not supporting the ground game, one big break is all that would be needed for your opponent, and you've thrown the game. But if you can get that big shiny tool online, also win it for you. The risk is great, but so are the rewards. New threat massing over on the left-hand side for Hank. Hank now with 118 kills to his name. I know people want me to talk about the maths. Well, he's a fully 5-star commander, and he's killed 10.2k worth of mass. Although, it might, probably more than that, because it stops at 10.2. So I don't actually know how much mass he's killed. But it's a lot. More than you or I, put it that way. Percival's probably going to have to back up in the face of that, I would imagine. Overcharges from Hank, taking care of those at regular intervals. Look at all that stored power. He's got 94,000. Must have overcharge capabilities out the wazoo. Where are all of his energy stores? Somewhere safe. Oh, there they are. Allowing him to spam that overcharge, making that comm much more deadly and, conversely, much safer as well. Still, potentially vulnerable to air attack, so he needs to look out for that. Quick strap bomber rush, especially with all of the Cyberins kicking about. It would be only too easy to sneak a handful of Revenants in and take out a vulnerable commander from any of these positions, really. Doesn't seem to be on the agenda at the moment for Tursto and co. We are now over 31, now 32 minutes into the game. And the big toys have come out to play. Lots of experimentals on the field. Quantum gateways. Nice to see strategic missile defense getting built. And of course, defenses against potential Cyberin poop baggery. No telemasering here, says Umas. Thank you very much. Umas? Upas, sorry. I nearly said Unas. I'm sure he's more attractive than an Unas. I'm being very coy about advancing to standoff tactics, but I don't blame them. It has been quite the ground gutter war so far. Hank looking like he wants to chase down this fat boy in the top left hand corner, but he's not going to get to it in time. He's only getting showered with artillery goodies for his trouble. You make nuke now, says Pepe from beyond the grave. Probably not a terrible idea, as far as ideas go. Useful tool to have, even if you're not going after bases. Use it to take out an army. Suddenly you've got an open door. Although Tursto looks like he's doing just fine. Look at the sheer quantity of bricks that he's amassed. 47 bricks left in that pile. Total DPS over 15,000. Experimentals dealt with ease, but this is going to be 2 Ion Storms that are going to proc here, and he's got a massive number of bricks in that area. He was at 47 bricks a moment ago. We'll see where this count goes to once those Ion Storms run out, or indeed once he's left the area. Down to 34. Another Ithota further to the south, or southwest. Number of bricks down to 20 now, below half what they were. And most of that is down to those 2 Ion Storms, which shows you just how dangerous they can be if you're caught up in the middle of them. Another Ithota down. Can he get into anywhere sensitive now that that's been taken out? It's going to be another Ion Storm. He's sitting in the middle and he just doesn't have the unit count now. On top of it as well, he's got broadswords to worry about in the skies overhead. He's going to have to withdraw. So again, he's moved up. He's eliminated the ground forces, but it's also cost him just about everything he had. Large mass field in the center there. 65,000 mass. And climbing as the casualties continue to climb. Fat Boy still alive in the west. Hank still unable to finish it off for the time being. In fact, that's usually a sign of desperation when at this phase of the game they're spamming out labs just to give that Fat Boy something else and something less important to fire at. seems to be holding him at bay for the time being, but there's a decent number of Percivals. There are inbound bricks and bangers. Or if he'd be tempted just to move to the right and send those bricks down here. He doesn't want to end up in a situation where he doesn't cripple this base and then loses this entire force, leaving him open to counter-attack. That's a lot for their superiority fighters. 236 on the field now for Tursto. We saw him ramping up his air production earlier. And that is the result. I would be very surprised if that's not... Well, actually, Knightley isn't doing too badly. He's got 236, I think that is. That's not too shabby either. You know what? Jip, if you're watching, you're always asking me what I would change, what would help. Just, I don't know, a little bit of a font change, if that's possible. That's not too bad, but when it's 30s and 8s in here, I can never quite tell if it's 3s or 8s or 6s or whatever it might be. 4 and a 0, that's not too bad. Just food for thought. I don't even know if that's possible. It's probably baked into the core game in some inexplicably annoying way. SMD, fast! Stop Arty! Make 2 nukes. So we have a Duke under construction right at the top of the screen, belonging to Mythologist. We also have a Disruptor under construction in the backfield for Tumba over on Team 1. Everybody racing for that next phase of the game. And an operational nuke launcher, which has been pinged by Team 1 in Upas's base. That first nuke over 50% cooked now. So it won't be too long before that first one's let fly. But look at this. We haven't seen much in the way of experimentals from Tursto. He's been very brick and loyalist heavy. There is a Megalith trying to hold ground against an inbound Athota, a Fat Boy back here, and a ton of ground spam. And in fact, Hank, instead of pushing everything against this top left position, his top left corner against Mythologist, he's having a pop at Tursto now. And it's not a bad shout. It looks like he's reaching the outer perimeter of the central base area now. We're going to get a massive aerial battle over the top of these forces. Not quite yet. All 4 air forces loitering in the area. Is that the initial spark that lights the inferno? Certainly looks like it. Oh dear, and most of those planes for Tursto were landed. That's not necessarily the best engage. A royal mess so far. Where are the planes? Oh no. Didn't we have a bunch of planes in the area for Tumba? Or have they already been destroyed? I'm not seeing them anywhere on the map. They must have been killed off already. Turns out that engage was just fine, and Team 1 are now without an air force. Bottom right flank looking vulnerable as 3 Fat Boys meander their way around towards that right flank. How long on the nuke? Says Pepe. Well, it's not long. It's very nearly done. Oh, what's going on over here? Tursto taking some fire. Look at Hank's force over here. He needs to get them moving on the ground. Tursto went for the microwave laser, but he needs to be careful. There's a bunch of Percys there, and they can do huge amounts of damage. They do not want to lose this player. He's stuck up on a P-Gen. What are you doing? No. Oh, my word. Tursto goes down. It's now a 3v4, but a nuke is in the air, heading towards Team 1's territory. Crucially, though, look at all of the units moving into Tursto's old base from Hank. Tons and tons of bricks Lots of P-Gens are going to die in here. And a lot of mass points also. Where's the nuke going? Is it going to get shot down en route? We do have a comm over here. It's Knightley. Looks like it's going right for the rear base, though. And I cannot believe we don't have strategic missile defense at 39 minutes. That is a horrible error, especially when people were pinging the nuke earlier as well. That is a definite misstep from Knightley. Should have had multiple SMDs up by now. I'm imagining that was an oversight and there hasn't been some spectacular strategic bombing run that we've missed, which has taken them all out. Mainly because, well, that would hurt my feelings more if I'd missed all that, so I'm going to pretend that's the case. Two of the three original fatties in the bottom right-hand corner are still alive. And some Percivals from Knightley managed to creep up on them. But there's just not enough. Fat Boys should be able to defend themselves. There's too many parashields as well, affording good protection. But Tursto is gone, and so, incidentally, is his main base. Team 2 now down 100 mass per tick or so. Generated eco, they are up by about... what is that? About 30,000 mass. Mass killed. Team 1 are ahead by about 200,000 mass. No, I'm talking about 200,000. Get it right, go. 20,000. 20,000 mass. So, not a huge amount in it. It's pretty even on that front. And what do we have in terms of players that remain? Well, Team 1, we've got a 1,500 in Legend Lore, an 1,100 in Tumba, a 1,600 in Hank, and a 1,700 in Knightley. But for Team 2, just three of them, one 1,100 with Upas, one 1,500 with Loki, and one 1,400 with Mythologist. Huge quantity of T2 gunships amassed, though, for Loki. Loki, who's taken over everything that Tursto had, but of course that central base has now been destroyed. Crucially, though, he has all of those air production facilities in the backfield, so he can go hardcore on the air spam. First order of business on that front, though, is to keep these broadswords alive. Nice initial free engage for Knightley. Sees him kill a bunch of them, but then the air force of Loki responds and keeps the remainder alive. How many are we looking at here? That's 23 broadswords. That's a lot of damage. 6,000 DPS. It's also about 34,000 mass. And now we're starting to see base-to-base artillery in play. Assuming that inbound shot was from the Duke we saw under construction earlier for Team 2. And we're nearly at a point where Tomba has an operational disruptor. Be a killer, though, if it gets taken out before it gets to fire its first shot. It's now complete. Detected. Just as the shells continue to rain down. There's the second nuke out from Upas. This time it looks like it's heading off to the bottom right-hand corner. Ah, interesting. So the broadsword's been transferred. No, this is a whole separate gunship squadron out from Upas of his own design. Whalers there to harass that position. Nuke is going to successfully penetrate. That's another nuclear L for Knightley. Knightley after that nuke. Down to about 1.2k. Oh no, excuse me. Is he power locked now? I'm on the wrong bleeding one, that's why. It was on mass in storage. I was like, what the hell? I've never seen mass do that before. Yeah, he's pulling in 469. Or 467, excuse me. Mass per tick. Hank, chip leader for Team 1. That's 650. Another nuke, this time out from Mythologist. He's got himself a double nuke launcher up at the top of the screen. That looks like it's coming for Hank. Something that Hank would usually adore. Okpuk already throwing out the GGs. This nuke spam and this air pressure is absolutely crippling Team 1 right now. Total air dominance in the hands of Team 2. Oh, it's a terrible place to stand, but I don't think it would have made an awful lot of difference. Tumba just hanging out by his highly volatile power facility. But to be honest, even if he was under here, somewhere under this shield gen, this many broadswords, too much damage, too much firepower. And I don't know how or if it's even feasible for Team 1 to crawl out from under this deluge that they're being subjected to right now. Bottom left corner base, all air production facilities look like they are now going to get taken out. That was Knightley, I believe, and that was a control case, so the capitulation is real. Legend Law and Hank now left by their lonesome in this game. They're going to lose all of the backfield. Yeah, this air power just crushed. Combination of air power and these nukes just crushed Team 2, who looked like they were actually getting somewhere. They'd taken out Tersto on the ground. They were getting good penetration on the ground. Mythologist kills off Legend Law somehow, not sure with what. Was that another nuke? Quite possibly. Oh, actually, yeah, it would have been. That was a double nuke launcher, wasn't it? So, nuke to the face. Legend Law presumably accepted his fate, leaving Hank all by his lonesome over here in his main base. Oh, and with a Novax harassing from orbit. Gunships could just be brought to bear to finish this, but this is probably too much fun for Team 2, who were very unsure, I'm certain, of the outcome of this game, the way it was going. Unit cap reached for who? Not still capped to the 1,000, surely. Should have access to his full team's unit cap. Handful of gunships brought in. Whalers there from Upas. They don't make it through the flak. Hank determined to see this out to the end. At the moment, we've just got these roaming bands of gunships picking off all of the structures at the extremities, the vulnerable mass production facilities. Perhaps he just wants to have this last attack. Bunch of bricks rolling into this outpost. Oh, just as the new Novax is completed. That's probably not going to last very long. Satellite doesn't even get to traverse anywhere. Just deploys its solar sails, or whatever they're called. Solar panels. Not really the solar sails, are they? And then it plummets back to Earth. SMD present there for Hank. Bricks over here still going. They are going to bag themselves a Duke, so that's a win. Can't do anything about these gunships. No flak left in that little group of units. Are we finally coming for the commander now? I think so. And there's way too many gunships to stop. Shield capitulates, and so does Hank's face. Boom, baby! Almost on the nose of 48 minutes. Thanks for the carry, says Chicks, who of course was first to go out. Alas, it is the way of things. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Big thanks, as I say, to Jip for helping me sort my issues. It was a weird audio issue, thanks, I think, to a Windows update, which was doing weird things. But yes, that's why this didn't come out yesterday. And apologies to the premium crew. I would have had this one out yesterday, and then I would have got a premium one done today. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to get one out over the weekend. We'll see. Kids and kids things, you know what it's like. But if not, I will aim to get a premium cast out for the $1 and up crew over on Monday. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And if you want to support me, guys, Patreon, the best place to do it. It'll get you access to, I think we have 106 premium ad-free casts now over on the Patreon. And also you get access to the Discord where you can come and pester me as well. I see every now and again, actually, I don't tune into the Discord for the Forge Alliance Forever Discord that much. I did actually see a couple of people have pinged me in the past for replays, and because I don't check it that much, I've missed them. So the best place to get me is actually on my own Discord. So it's a mere $1 a month, guys. Do come and check me out. Good place to support me. All right, until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.